Welcome to Coin Lady channel, guys. When I think about how relentlessly attacked XRP has been, especially by the SEC, over the past 2 years and a half, I can't help but be impressed by its continued success. Look at the headline in the Crypto Beginners making the point, for example. Despite this, XRP has increased by more than 100% since the SEC filed suit against Ripple. And I think it's just a pretty clear illustration that, those of us who are still here and still paying attention, I think we know. I kind of hate to use this phrase, it's overplayed, but we know what we hold like it is literally true. And I just get a little bit irritated by the phrase sometimes because it's used to mean something that sounds more out in conspiracy theory land. As you might expect, it's popular among those demographics. However, I'm aware of the contents of my possession and the significance of its current application. I get why it's being promoted as a useful bridge currency to aid in legacy financing. I see the potential for its utility to grow. Sure as hell do, and I'm not lying when I say that I know exactly what it is that I have. In spite of you, I think it is still up there because so many people in our community get it. It was beginning to look like a mini alt season, with prices trending upwards. It wasn't an alternative music festival season on the scale of 2017. But the truly successful alts didn't begin their meteoric rise until late 2022 or early 2021. That's why XRP was kind of involved. But the main idea is that we are currently experiencing more positive price action. We may now be at the bear market's bottom, or very near it, and yet prices are still relatively high. That seems pretty incredible to me. When you add up the nonsense we've had to endure for over 2 years, it's easy to feel hopeless. But I think this is a pretty good sign that people in general get it. And that's why, when you saw Judge Torres' ruling a few days ago and the doorbell motions, you saw that XRP price held, while the rest of the market was panicking and fine, but even XRP did start to go down after 3 days of, massive pressure. But it did take that long. And in the meantime, most cryptocurrencies are falling in value. The movement was entirely laterally. So, I believe most people have made their predictions, and we expect XRP to have a bright future globally. However, there has been some bizarre occurrences, with the Silicon Valley Bank being the source of the most recent and most terrifying news. In a video I posted earlier today, I went into detail about it. I also discussed it the day before that, and the situation is still evolving. So, I anticipate that this topic will be discussed for quite some time. And I have a story about Elon Musk and Silicon Valley Bank that I'll tell at the end of the video. Furthermore, it's the level of sincerity with which he approaches things. Sorry, I have no idea. But it began the same as when somebody suggested he buy Twitter. Perhaps I'll investigate that, he basically said. So, he finally did it. He made the decision to purchase Twitter. So, I'm thinking, if he's implying that he might buy a bank, then he must mean it. He might be buying a bank, I thought. To be honest, what do I know? The ramifications of that are intriguing to contemplate. Furthermore, I have long maintained that the only way Bitcoin's price will drop below the roughly $15,500 it hit after the FTX collapse is if a wildcard event, a black swan event, occurs. So, is this what we're seeing now with Silicon Valley Bank? I've read an article that presents the viewpoint of an analyst who appears to share your suspicions. To be continued. But before I go any further, let me make something crystal clear. I came from a family with no history of wealth or financial expertise. To be clear, I'm not giving out money tips. None of what I say or write should be used as a basis for making any financial decisions. As I record this video, I'm just a hobbyist who enjoys making videos on YouTube about crypto-related topics. Get 36 cents per excerpt. At a price of $20,184 per Bitcoin. However, I will say that within the past day, it has dropped to a low of $19,784. The lowest price XRP ever fell to was $30. With a market cap of $0.36 and Bitcoin's current dominance at $941 billion, 41.42%, this asset class is dominated by Bitcoin. Furthermore, the general populace is on edge, which is understandable given the recent string of bad news. Index of cryptocurrency-related fear and exuberance scores 33. Absolutely. People are shrinking back in terror. As you probably know by now, interest rates are only going up from here, what with the recent ominous reports from, like, Jerome Powell. Both Silvergate Bank and Silicon Valley Bank went under shortly afterward. These are financial institutions that deal with cryptocurrency. Just so there's no confusion, they're actual, in the strict sense of the word, conventional financial institutions. They are traditional financial institutions that happen to have close ties with crypto-related businesses. They've always been and currently are more progressive-minded. Connected with the crypto market's clientele, if you will. They have left. Plus, I've already explained why. I won't go over that again, but it's having a major impact, even on stablecoins. Even though I won't go into detail in this video as to why, I will say that it is important to note, as I did earlier today. The lowest price ever for USD stablecoin was 87 cents. Amidst all the craziness, you have XRP, and articles like this one, which claim that XRP has risen by more than 100% since the lawsuit began, are basing their calculations on the point at which the price of XRP bottomed out after the SEC filed suit. Since the current value of XRP is close to 60 cents, that's essentially what they mean. About 17 cents was all that was left. From that point on, we're obviously going up a considerable distance. Then they showed off a post from XRP community member Stephen Huber. He accessed the XRP price for December 29, 2020 via the Internet Archive's Wayback Machine. That puts you at a week after the formal lawsuit was lodged. At the time this snapshot was taken, XRP was valued at 18 cents, and there were approximately 45 billion coins in circulation. Now compare that to the current price of XRP currently at 37 cents and the total supply currently at close to 51 billion of XRP in circulation at the time he made his recording. Now there is more XRP in circulation than ever before, and at a terrible time for the market. Despite everything that XRP has been through, it is still in the top 10 and has increased by more than 100%. Let's be honest, I think the world already has enough inhabitants. One can see the signs everywhere. There are good reasons why we all hold the beliefs that we do. We have faith that the right actions will be taken in response to the SEC's lawsuit. Also, this caught my attention and I felt the need to comment on it. In order to look at the value of coins from the past, we need a time machine of sorts. Also, they keep count of how many different digital currencies are in circulation. Moreover, this was snatched right at that moment. And once more, on the 29th of December, 2020, there were 8,128 cryptocurrencies recorded by the coin market cap. Over 20,000 are now in existence. To put it mildly, that went from bad to worse very quickly. This came in about 12 hours ago or so from a chart analyst at Income Sharks. Yeah. Well, here we go. Time, yesterday at 5:27 p.m. He reported that Bitcoin transactions are increasing in number. I anticipate this to be resolved by the end of March, if not sooner. Since he has maintained this position for some time now, he is emphasizing the fact that he still considers 20,000 to be substantial backing. Hence, the fact that it's rising down here at all suggests that it's within the realm of what he's talking about, and that he believes that to be a stable foundation. Not even this new information has shaken his conviction. He's unwavering in his conviction. And, I kind of hope he's right. He then provided an update at 9:03 p.m., just a few hours later, saying that Bitcoin was, at the time, rising in value. There's nothing but despair and dread at the bottom, he said. Now we're at the beginning of the climb. It's a reasonable question to wonder where this was at $25,000 in value. But if we're being completely forthright, at $25,000 it's not worth it. Alright, the market did feel better. In that case, you probably wouldn't be expecting the scary tales. It's just silly, and he's pointing out something silly, in general, in this case, because when markets correctly go to the downside, you attribute the decline to whatever is happening at the time. It occurred for that very reason here. The decline was due to or exacerbated by real-world events. Furthermore, it is important to note that when cryptocurrency prices drop, it is often because that was the natural course of events. It consists of a group of emotional humans making irrational trades. That's not too surprising, especially considering the announcement from Fed Chair Jerome Powell and the failure of both Silvergate Bank and Silicon Valley Bank in the real world. Then he also mentioned this, which is incredibly insightful. What he means is, according to him, crypto Twitter users don't learn much about any given subject because they constantly parrot one another. A wild game of telephone has ensued. Everything is going to zero, there are no good banks, and everything is crashing. And so on and so forth. Fear is such a potent emotion, it helps rumors travel even faster. I'm no financial expert, but I've heard that not all banks have poor risk management. Similarly, not every marketplace is as terrible as FTX. So, yes, I agree with him that he's right in that regard. I can't even say for sure that this black swan event will occur here. Moreover, perhaps it has already transpired. The repercussions from this are still to be seen. Not that I can say for sure. Not that I have any special insight into the future, but I don't think a domino effect of bank failures is likely. Yes. It's just too perfect for this moment to pass without something happening. However, most financial institutions prefer to have a distinct risk profile. Again, I'd rather not bore you with details from the video I already made, but suffice it to say that it involved Silicon Valley and the Silicon Valley Bank in particular. Putting customer money into risky government bonds and charging exorbitant interest rates was the issue. They didn't appear to have done anything illegal. After FOMC meetings, the Fed chair or the Fed did something. Therefore, this is by no means indicative of what will occur with every other. Contrary to popular belief, most banks' clientele are not identical to those of those banks. By no means. They focus on the crypto industry. And to be honest, I expect everyone in Silicon Valley to handle risk in their own unique way. True, Silicon Valley Bank has made some baffling choices. They didn't break any laws, but as I mentioned in an earlier video, they did make some bad choices that ultimately led to their demise. Is it, therefore, rational to experience actual fear? Is that black swan event really going to happen? Is there going to be this one unforeseen thing that drives down prices? Maybe. However, I still don't get it. Sorry, I just don't get it. Is this just the beginning of a never-ending series? Nonetheless, I can't fathom why that would occur. A small number of banks are willing to work with cryptocurrency customers. And that's not most banks, because, look, if you were going to have a series of banks go belly up just in the United States, just in general, which I do not believe is about to happen, yes, that would cause a panic in all sorts of markets, including equities, and then crypto would follow. Yes, a drop in value would be catastrophic. Perhaps you decide to go to an all-time low with your anger. What are the chances of that happening? What do you think? Is US going to disappear completely? While there has been a rush for it, I'm not convinced that it will continue to rise. There isn't enough evidence to support that conclusion at this time. It's not out of the question, in my opinion. Is this the time that it takes place? I don't see that happening anytime soon. It should be fine, unless USC is flat out fibbing about its support. The amount of backing money held by Silicon Valley Bank is the primary source of anxiety. Will that be sufficient to ensure its complete and total extinction? How much of a run on it do you think there would have to be before trust was completely shattered? I have my doubts about that. I feel the need to comment. That's why I'm interested in hearing doomsday scenarios from those who think they are plausible. That's why I'm going to tell you about it. However, I'm still not convinced. In light of this, consider the Daily Huddle's recent front page alarm: $460 million in Bitcoin and crypto could disappear as worst case scenario worsens. Benjamin Cowan, an analyst. As such, the events of which he speaks are, without a doubt, catastrophic. And when it comes to crypto, I try to avoid making blanket statements. Okay, I suppose I could do that in theory. My gut tells me that this is not what will happen. But this is a well-known analyst who runs one of the most subscribed to crypto YouTube channels in the world. I'm interested in hearing his thoughts. Benjamin Cohen, a widely respected crypto analyst, has predicted a catastrophic outcome for the market as prices have plummeted. To his 784,000 YouTube subscribers, Cohen warns in a new strategy session that a correction in the cryptocurrency markets like the collapse could wipe out hundreds of billions of dollars. A lot of what we're seeing now in the cryptocurrency market is reminiscent of the tech stock crash of the dot-com era. Quote ends. Cohen compares the current state of the cryptocurrency market to the Nasdaq's performance during the dot-com boom. To forecast the future value of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, he looks to the percentage gains and losses seen in the dot-com market. The analyst predicts that the total market cap for all crypto assets will experience another capitulation phase similar to the Nasdaq's 30% drop in 2022 before bottoming out. That's why I almost left this out of the video I posted earlier in which I discussed Silicon Valley Bank. The repercussions are still unknown. The one thing I wanted to bring up is the possibility of a bank bailout, which wouldn't be something I'd hope for, but which, in theory, could prevent the kind of catastrophic fallout he's talking about. But even if that were to happen, I still wouldn't be convinced. Possibly, but you are talking about the 90s here. Over $250,000 in deposits at Silicon Valley Bank are non-insured by the FDIC, which is what I understand to be the case. Isn't there something else we need to do? What do you think? Would that be enough to completely cripple crypto? Look, if crypto falls that much, I'm guessing stocks will take a big hit too. Now, I'm not entirely convinced by this story, but I'm telling you about it anyway. However, I have included a quote from him below. What would happen to the total crypto market cap if we drop 30% below the previous low? This would be a significant correction from current levels, bringing the total market cap down to around $500 billion. That's a drop of 30% from the current levels, which themselves are 30% lower than the previous low. That would be another 40 to 50% drop. Again, we recognize that these percentages are not set in stone. It could be 40% lower from here if the trend continues, or it could be 50% lower and bring you closer to $400 billion. Folks, once more, we're just under 1 trillion right now, so an increase to 500 billion would be huge. Now, I will say that if such a thing were to occur, which I am not convinced it will, but if it did, you know, I'd be like, I'm here for it. In any case, I will be here. But I'll be honest with you, I do my buying during capitulation events because I never think the world is going to end. According to what I've heard, a lot of people think the end of the world is coming soon. In the midst of those times, I, however, am happy to take advantage of sales and buy things even though I don't agree. Yes, that's the last word. As a result, I will be very interested in this development. Fortunately, I have a lot of money stashed away for just such an emergency. When I finally realized that everyone was legitimately scared, I went public and said that we had deployed a significant portion of it in November. If we do experience another major catastrophe, I will be a believer in the capitulation event and will be glad I did. Okay. The U.S. economy will recover, and I know that, but I can't say when. There will still be cryptography. The situation will eventually improve. I have a lot of spare cash, so I'll be buying when prices are low. Yes, I intend to do that. Consequently, I'm at this location, and I'm content. Everything will work out fine regardless of what happens. And, you know, my bags are packed if we don't get that chance. In either case, I'll be satisfied. Really, I am. Let the world continue on its merry way. To put it simply, I intend to live through it. To put it bluntly, I have no say in the matter. I'm just trying to get by every day. Elon Musk, meanwhile, is interested in purchasing the failed Silicon Valley Bank. Unfortunately, I don't think it's necessary for me to read the article. I guess I just needed to get my point across. Time will tell what else transpires. Basically, I just wanted to bring it up because someone had suggested that Twitter acquire Silicon Valley Bank and transform into a digital bank. And then Elon Musk said, I'm open to the idea. Okay. Again, you might roll your eyes if it were anyone else. But Elon Musk is involved. And that was basically the same style of introduction that led to him buying Twitter for $44 billion or whatever the outrageous price was. And he was able to secure the necessary financing and whatever else was needed. As a result, I don't believe he's just saying that to say it. If he's saying it, it's not because he actually believes it will happen. That, however, would make for a very intriguing dynamic. But this is different from simply purchasing Twitter, so I have my doubts. As an analogy, the federal government places limits on who can buy banks and, in particular, troubled banks. So, I have no idea if he has even investigated it. Perhaps he really believes this, but he hasn't yet investigated the feasibility of his plan. But, I'd imagine with him being Elon Musk regarding getting the funds together to pull something like together, if he really wanted to do it, outside of any sort of restrictions from the government, this or that, maybe he really could do it. This is something else to think about. The world is just utterly insane. It's crazy how many absurd things have happened in the past week. Let me apologize briefly. It's unusual to have so many tangible things happen in 1 week. Thus, fluctuations are a constant feature. You get this kind of downside volatility and you're like, okay, well, crypto, but then you keep getting horrible news every day and it seems like the whole thing is just spiraling downwards. Personally, I couldn't care less because it's as if I hadn't done it. This is me. The only thing I'm doing is existing. But it's not often that terrible events unfold in such a way in the news. More than half a decade has passed since I first started working with crypto. In real life, prices don't typically drop due to a series of serious events, but in this case, it seems to have been caused by actual factors. And yet, I'm glad to be back in this place. Sorry if I sound like a broken record, but I really am happy. How come I'm so joyful? Because, the market is expected to continue its upward trend. Even if we have to wait until next year or longer, I still think the near future and the rest of this year hold a lot of promise, despite the massive setbacks we've seen. I think the resolution of the SEC versus Ripple case will go well for XRP, and that it will be relisted on U.S. exchanges. The effect on the price is easy to guess. There is a lot to look forward to. But I'm not going to worry about this nonsense the way that a lot of the average retail speculators do. They make me see things in a new light. The term financial advisor is not one that I use. Nothing I say or write should be used as a basis for making financial decisions. Please like and subscribe my channel. See you in the next video. Bye.